1,
2,
3,
4.
Monster movie.
Fun time, go! Monster movie.
Fun time, go. Monster.
Movie.
Fun time.
Go!
Monster movie. Fun time, go.
With Precious D and Honeybee.
Fun time, go!
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, friends and neighbors, welcome back to 31 Days of Horror. Day number 24. With me today, returning to the show, is my sister, Amanda Lopez. Welcome back to the show, Amanda.
Hello. Thanks for having me. Welcome, everyone. I am here.
We're going to be talking about Trick or Treat. If you're trying to look it up, it's apostrophe R Treat from 2007. It is directed by Michael Dougherty, who went on to direct one of the Godzilla movies, I think. Oh, he directed Krampus, which was our Christmas special last year. He did Superman Returns. He doesn't have that many. He has X2, Urban Legends Bloody Mary, Superman Returns, Trick or Treat, Krampus, and Godzilla King of Monsters. So, well, there you go. I guess he is picky about what he directs.
Sure.
He doesn't. That's from 2003 to 2019. That's not a whole lot of movies
that's not a lot.
in that period. Let's see. It is 82 minutes. It's in color, and the budget was $12 million. It does not tell me
Good God, man.
what. It doesn't tell me what the box office was. Yeah, I know. It doesn't seem like $12 million worth of stuff. I don't know how much of that was just paychecks. There's no huge actors in it, but they're all kind of mid-level people you might have seen here and there.
Yeah. That guy or that chick.
Right.
That
first
woman,
saw
I
this,
should say, not chick.
right. Our brother Danny introduced this movie to me. He gave me a copy of it back around 2007. And I quite like it. What are your initial thoughts?
Well, to be fair to the movie, I did have COVID when I tried to watch it the first time. So
Okay.
I had major COVID fatigue. So I kept falling asleep during the movie. And that could not be, it's quite possible that is not a testament to the movie and a testament to the fatigue. But I fell asleep and then I woke up when it's one of those standard, now it's super loud things that happens in horror movies where it's quiet, 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 and now it's super loud. So I did not make it through the first time. And then I made it through the second time. Again, I was tired. I had to focus to make it through. So it's been about probably 2 weeks since I watched it. I thought I should probably watch it again before talking to people about it. So third time's a charm, I guess I would say. It went better this time, for sure. I made it through. I took notes.
Okay, I think you may have now seen this movie more times than I have.
Probably, yeah, probably.
I know I've seen it at least twice. I can't remember if I've watched it between the first time and this most recent time. I may have watched it a third time, but they were more spread out. They were more spread out than yours.
Right.
Our movie features Quinn Lord as Sam, Dylan Baker as Principal Stephen Wilkins. You've seen him and stuff.
Oh, yeah, he's got that face. You'll know him, people.
Yeah, he's that guy. Anna Paquin as Lori.
Yep.
Brian Cox as Mr. Krieg. Those are both fairly big names.
Yes,
Gerald Pates as young Krieg. Lauren Lee Smith as Danielle. Rochelle Ates as Maria. Britt McKillop as Macy. Jean-Luc Bilodeau as Schrader. Sam Todd as Rhonda. Alberto Guise as Chip. Isabella Deluce as Sarah. Monica Delane as Janet. Leslie Bibb as Emma. Timon Pinkett as Henry. He was in Battlestar Galactica. Our listeners might have seen him. Brett Kelly as Charlie. Connor Levins as Billy Wilkins. James Wilson as Alex. Patrick Gilmore as Bud the cameraman. C. Ernest Harth as Giant Baby.
Oh, yep.
Was he just walking around trick-or-treating? I don't think he did anything.
He was set
Or
up
was he a victim?
to be prey. Yes.
Yeah, okay. Keenan Schnorr as Matthew, Christy Willis as Mrs. Henderson, Richard Harmon as Vampire Kid, and Laura Manel as Allie.
Okay, got that, everyone?
That's a lot. It's a lot of people, and that's because this is sort of an anthology movie, except the stories are kind of intertwined.
Yes.
We're going to get into the Wikipedia summary now.
Okay,
Thank you,
perfect.
Wikipedia. The
Thank
film is
you.
framed as Halloween night in the fictional town of Warren Valley, Ohio. The plot follows a non-linear narrative with characters crossing paths throughout the film. At the center of the story is Sam, a peculiar trick-or-treater in a burlap pajama costume who appears to enforce the rules of Halloween. I think Sam is meant to be named for Samhain, which is not pronounced Samhain.
Okay.
Samhain is an old Celtic pagan festival that Halloween sort of got absorbed into All Hallows Eve. So a lot of our spooky crap comes from Samhain, which is spelled Samhain but pronounced Samhain because it's Gaelic and nothing is spelled like it sounds. So I think that's why they've named him Sam.
The more you know.
No one actually calls him Sam in the movie.
No, I just call him the Little Big Planet Scarecrow, but keep going. We'll come back to
Yes, that's right. He does look a lot like Little Big Planet. He has orange pajamas with footies and then a big round burlap head mask thing.
that.
And as I said, this movie came out in 2007, but for some reason this year in the Spirit Halloween store, Sam is all over the place. I haven't noticed him previously.
Weird.
He's not like what's his name, Jack Skellington, who's always
Right,
there.
right.
Or
He's always been cool.
yeah, he's just always been featured in their merchandise, and he's not
Yeah.
like Freddy or Jason or Frankenstein or anything. He just seems to have suddenly shown up this year for no reason. So there you go. But yeah, we see him throughout the film mostly observing, and he enforces the rules of Halloween. In the opening scene, Emma and her Halloween-loving husband Henry return home after a celebratory night. Emma's wearing a homemade robot costume that's like, cardboard boxes and tubes from the back of the dryer and stuff.
It's classy.
Yeah. And well, I like that she just went with a robot and not sexy robot or something like that.
For sure. Yes, I appreciate that.
And Henry is dressed as Flash Gordon, but he's like old fashioned Flash Gordon. His costume is black and white, like he stepped out of the original black and white Flash Gordon. So I enjoyed his costume as well. Emma, who hates Halloween, blows out their jack-o'-lantern. Man, for someone who hates Halloween, she went full in on her costume.
She did. And decor.
Yes. Oh yeah, the yard and everything.
Yeah.
She blows out the jack-o'-lantern before midnight against Henry's superstitious advice. This is not a thing I've ever heard of, but...
No, me either, before this movie, yeah.
As Henry relaxes and falls asleep in the house, Emma begins tearing down the front lawn decorations without his knowing, but is then ambushed and murdered by an unseen assailant. Hours later, Henry discovers her mutilated corpse on display with the decorations.
And that's why you don't clean on Halloween.
Yes,
I've
wait
said
till the
it
next
once,
day.
I've said it 1,000 times.
People are still out trick-or-treating, and she's trying to take the decorations down. I don't know what the hell's wrong with her.
She's that nicely written, stereotypical, uptight wife that's like, we've got to pick these up tonight because my mother's coming tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
wah, and that. Why you don't clean on Halloween, people.
Nope. The next segment is called Principal. Charlie, an overweight child who vandalizes jack-o'-lanterns, is caught stealing candy from an unattended bowl left by the school principal, Stephen Wilkins. The bowl says take one, and of course he's taken a whole handful.
Yeah.
Seemingly taking the offense in stride, Wilkins offers Charlie a candy bar while lecturing Charlie on the importance of respecting Halloween rules and traditions, which we just saw can get you killed if you don't.
That's right.
Charlie gradually feels more unwell until he begins to vomit chocolate and blood. As Charlie dies, Wilkins reveals that he laced the candy with cyanide, like you do.
Yeah.
While clumsily attempting to hide the murder, he hands out candy to trick-or-treaters, including Sam. Wilkins attempts to bury Charlie in his backyard, along with the body of another victim. Was there another victim? I don't remember that. But is continually interrupted by his young son, Billy. His cantankerous elderly neighbor, Mr. Krieg, he just starts digging a grave right there. And
Yep.
in view of everybody, and Krieg's dog Spite. The other victim turns out to be still alive and struggles in his sack, forcing Wilkins to violently beat him to death with a shovel before anyone can discern the noise. I guess I just didn't catch at all that there were two separate victims.
So I thought that was Charlie's body and he was going ahead and dealing with him outside.
Yeah.
I didn't know that it was two people either. So I thought that was Charlie.
Yeah. This might not be correct. I don't know.
Also, can we rewind to the projectile vomiting of Charlie?
Sure.
Because I wrote down pukes a lot, underline. And the first time I watched it, I had made it this far that I was like, oh God, I was having a physical reaction to the amount and perhaps the color. I was just, normally things like that don't bother me. But for whatever reason, the chocolate puke, it was a lot. So if you don't like puke, just be prepared for that because it is intense. It feels like it's never going to end. Even when he brings Charlie inside and then he warns him like, and that's why you don't take candy from strangers. This is what happens if you take candy from strangers. You will vomit very intensely and be drug into a home. So friendly warning.
But it's not a stranger. It's his school principal.
Yes, true. But he tells him, and that's why, he says, always check your candy. That's what he tells him.
Okay.
Yes. Another tradition, Charlie, is to always check your candy.
Yes. And I should point out that there is absolutely no record of anyone being seriously harmed by anything in their candy. And that any cases where they were mildly harmed, it turns out it was like the kid's own father who put the thing in the candy.
Yeah. So anyways, I just felt we needed to discuss the amount of puke.
Sure. But the principal straight up put cyanide. He didn't put a pin or a razor. Thing is, if somebody puts a piece of metal in your candy, you're going to bite into it before you swallow.
Right.
Which is why you're not going to get seriously injured. But if they jump ahead to cyanide, then that could be bad.
He's also a little bit of a fat shamer on poor Charlie, telling him it's not good for his diabetes. Does he actually have diabetes? I don't know. Or was he just being a jerk face principal?
Turns out it doesn't matter because the cyanide got him.
Right. Anyway.
So folks, enjoy your candy because you never know when the cyanide's going to get you instead.
Exactly.
When Wilkins returns indoors, he briefly notices Krieg at the window screaming for help before something seems to attack him. Wilkins guides Billy downstairs to carve a jack-o'-lantern, hiding a knife behind his back. After some hesitation, Wilkins appears to stab Billy. However, Billy is unharmed, and it is revealed that the knife was plunged into Charlie's severed head, the jack-o'-lantern they were about to carve.
That's why I think the body in the backyard, that was Charlie, and he just took the head off to bring inside for the kid to carve as a jack-o'-lantern. Not that there were two different people. But whatever, Wikipedia, we appreciate you. Good effort.
Now, Wilkins mentions his son. Billy wants him to do something. He says, I can't. I have a date. I guess he wants him to take him trick-or-treating.
Oh, I missed that part.
Yeah, he says he has a date. So that's going to come up later.
Right. I know he asked him, can we carve a scary face this time? For the jack-o'-lantern. The kid asked him, can we do that? But don't forget to help me with the eyes in the creepy Halloween kid way.
Next is Halloween School Bus Massacre. A group of teenage trick-or-treaters, Macy, Chip, Schrader, and Sarah, are collecting jack-o'-lanterns when they meet Rhonda, a Halloween traditionalist dressed as a witch. The group, led by Macy, visits a flooded quarry where she tells the urban legend of the Halloween School Bus Massacre. Macy, Britt McKillop, she was in, what the hell was that show?
I don't know. Her face looked familiar.
She wears glasses on the other show, so that would throw you off. Dead Like Me. She was the younger sister in Dead Like Me, which was on the air around this time. So they were, but they took her glasses off and tried to make her look not quite sexy, but attractive. She's too young to be made too sexy, but they were trying to make her. She plays a real nerd on the other show. Mm-hmm. So they were trying to spruce her up in this movie.
I think I've seen her in probably like a teen movie where she was the mean girl. It's the vibe I have. But anyway.
Anyway, she takes them to a flooded quarry where she tells them the urban legend of the Halloween School Bus Massacre. In this legend, 8 disabled children were killed by a school bus driver on Halloween. The children's parents, weary of the burden of caring for them and resenting them for their disabilities out of embarrassment, wanted nothing more than to be rid of them, so they paid the bus driver to dispose of them. However, before the driver could complete his plan, one child escaped his shackles and took control of the bus. The boy wound up causing the bus to fall into the quarry, killing the children, though the driver survived. Macy leaves 8 jack-o'-lanterns by the lake as a tribute to the deceased. The group splits up, leaving Rhonda and Chip behind. Rhonda is pursued by horrifying figures, but once she is reduced to tears, the other teens claim responsibility, revealing that they disguise themselves as the dead children in an attempt to prank her, all planned out by Macy. This is just terrible. Rhonda seems to be a little bit slow or a little bit autistic or something.
They make some reference to it, and I forgot what it is. They call her a something savant, I think, at some point.
Yes. They say that she's idiot savant would be the old-fashioned term.
Yeah.
I can't remember if they just said savant or autistic savant or what.
Also, the bus driver was never heard from again, is what she says at the end of that.
Yeah.
When they, the kids all crash in the bus and go down, and it says, and the bus driver was never heard from again, ...
Yeah, but that turns out to not be exactly true.
Well, yes, I was doing a thing. I was adding some, what's the word?
Foreshadowing?
Yes. Well, not foreshadowing, but making it exciting. Like,
okay.
Is this
Some
true?
tension.
Yes,
Some
a little
suspense.
tension. Yeah.
Anyway, they have targeted this girl because she's, different.
Yes.
Mentally
Because
different.
they are jerk faces.
At first, is it Schrader?
Yeah, I don't know the names of those kids.
The older of the two boys, or the taller of the
the
two
nicer
boys.
boy.
Well, he acts like he's being nice to her, and he does seem to regret having pranked her. She obviously likes
Yes.
him, and he sort of leads her on and makes her think maybe he might like her too, or is at least going to be nice to her. But then he still participates in the prank.
He does.
Let's see. Schrader realizes that the trick has gone too far and comforts the terrified Rhonda, while a bitter Macy kicks a jack-o'-lantern into the water. The dead children emerge from the lake, attacking Macy and Sarah. Sarah is dragged away and killed while Rhonda escapes. They had to take an elevator to get down to the edge of
Oh, yes,
this
it was the
lake.
weird little cage elevator thing down. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So she gets into it and doesn't let them in. She escapes, abandoning the other 3 teens to their gruesome fate as revenge for their heartless prank on her. As she leaves, Rhonda encounters Sam and exchanges a nod of respect toward him. Yeah, when we see her, she's got all these jack-o'-lanterns that she's made herself, and they're very well carved, and Schrader compliments her on her jack-o'-lanterns. Next, we have Surprise Party. So throughout these, though, we see people crossing over.
Yes. Yeah.
With
Earlier
others.
in
So
one of the other ones, I think when there was the teenage group friends, I think it was, then we see the other group walk by. There's those kinds of moments.
Yeah. So Surprise Party is about these 3-4 older girls, but we've gotten a little bit of interaction with them before this, and a little bit of the 3 sort of sluttier girls are urging Lori to, I don't know what, relax or get it over with or something. So now comes their main story, Surprise Party. Lori, this is Academy Award winner Anna Paquin.
Not for this film.
No. Lori, a self-conscious 22-year-old, joins her sister Danielle and friends Maria and Janet for Halloween. She winds up with a Little Red Riding Hood costume that, in her opinion, makes her look like she's 5 in comparison to her friends' revealing outfits. A staunch traditionalist, Lori misses just trick-or-treating, which her sister and friends casually disregard. The other girls pick up dates, but Lori declines in favor of staying to enjoy the town festival instead. She later encounters a hooded man dressed as a vampire who follows her into the woods and attacks her. They imply through all their conversation that Lori is a virgin and she just needs to find a guy and get it over with.
Yeah.
And it's kind of saying, and you should do that now.
And we did see Vampire Guy earlier in one of the moments of the kind of town square people overlapping.
Yeah. She defeats the assailant, and Lori's friends unmask the incapacitated man at a bonfire when she forcibly brings him along. He is Stephen Wilkins. So he was biting a girl in the alley and actually biting her, and this appears to be the date that he mentioned earlier.
Right. his vampire date. Mwahaha.
Yeah. He is revealed to be a serial killer who has sought out victims at the festival. So, depending on if the earlier summary was correct, this is either his second or third victim of the night.
Mm-hmm.
Laurie's friends are then revealed to be werewolves, shedding their clothing and skin before feasting on their deceased dates. They tear their skin off. There's a lot of
They
different
sure do.
werewolf transformations in film. This one, they're just tearing their skin right off of the fur. I guess when they go back
I didn't
later.
know that was a thing, but maybe I should do my research on these. I've never seen that on anything where they just pull it off.
In The Wolfman, he just sits down and fades into wolf form.
They are pulling it off like a costume that's like rubber texture looking.
There's other transformations where they sort of grow and stretch, and it seems really painful as their bones change shape and their skin stretches out, but they don't normally just tear off the outer layer to reveal a wolf underneath.
Yeah,
but there are some that are kind of like that. So this makes me wonder, do they have to do that again a second time? When they go back, do they have to tear off the wolf skin and have a human underneath?
It nicely. It was just like rip this skin off and
So I'm thinking they got to do this again.
I think so too. They did not save it for reuse. I'll say that.
The hair isn't gonna just recede. They're gonna have to tear off the wolf skin to have new, fresh human skin underneath.
Yeah.
Let's see. Feasting on their deceased dates. Laurie, having decided to make an exception and join them for this occasion, is the last to transform and kills Wilkins before devouring him. Sitting on a log nearby, Sam witnesses the werewolves feast.
With a nice little, Little Red Riding Hood reference, right? Because that's her costume. So then she has to say the "what big eyes you have."
Oh, that's right.
Because he said it to her earlier, and then now, the irony. She is really the wolf.
She doesn't seem to transform as much as the others.
No.
But it is her. They've indicated this is her first time, so.
Yeah.
Also,
and then
they want her
there's
to be able to still talk.
Little Big Planet, hanging out.
Yeah.
Just watching the stuff go down.
And the next section, really the final section, other than the little tag, is Sam. Krieg, Wilkins' curmudgeonly, Halloween-hating neighbor, scares trick-or-treaters off his doorstep. As the night proceeds, Krieg encounters escalating phenomena. The house is egged, the lawn is filled with ornate jack-o'-lanterns. Oh, I wonder if those are meant to be, what's-her-name's jack-o'-lanterns?
Oh, maybe.
And the hallways and ceiling are scrawled with Halloween and Samhain greetings. Krieg is ambushed numerous times by Sam and eventually manages to unmask his assailant, whose head resembles a frightful hybrid of a skull and a jack-o'-lantern. So it turns out that his head is a big round ball shape underneath the burlap mask.
It also almost reminded me of the Krieg, like a gremlin. The face, like if gremlins didn't have hair.
Okay.
And were evil.
They don't when they transform.
Yeah.
You mean like in the movie when they transform?
Yeah. Something about it reminded me of Gremlins. It was horrible, and I hate his face.
So this is then we see the scene from the other side from the beginning where he's yelling out the window and the neighbor sees him and blows him off. Krieg shoots Sam several times with a shotgun and pumpkin innards spray from the wounds. So he's some kind of actual living pumpkin thing.
Yep. Yeah. With a basketball head.
Sam proves difficult to kill, and after badly injuring Krieg, he eventually has the old man cornered. Instead of killing Krieg, Sam impales a candy bar in Krieg's lap, completing the tradition of handing out candy on Halloween. Satisfied, Sam spares a confused Krieg and ominously departs. Meanwhile, photographs burning in the fireplace reveal that Krieg is the driver from the school bus massacre.
Dun, dun, dun.
Did they just get knocked in there during the fight?
We just cut to them. So I don't know if he was burning them when Sam
shows
up.
It's a little late. If he's trying to get rid of evidence, it's a little late.
Right.
Maybe. Maybe just
later. I don't know how much later.
Maybe in all the chaos, they just got knocked in there. Conclusion. A heavily bandaged Krieg gives candy to trick-or-treaters. While on his front porch, he observes the street where he witnesses other characters in the film mill about observing Halloween traditions. Billy sits on his father's porch, handing out candy to trick-or-treaters and enjoying himself. Rhonda crosses the street, casually pulling her wagon filled with jack-o'-lanterns along. I guess they weren't her jack-o'-lanterns, because she still has them. And is nearly run over by Lori and the girls' van as they drive by laughing to each other. Emma and Henry arrive at home. Henry relaxes in the home while Emma blows out the jack-o'-lantern as Sam moves in for the kill for breaking a Halloween tradition. Krieg retreats into his home, but immediately hears a knock on his door. These last trick-or-treaters are the children from the bus. They mockingly greet him before proceeding to brutally tear apart and devour Krieg as revenge for their murder.
They were playing the long game on that one.
That's right.
They waited a while.
They were trapped down in that lake until somebody kicked a pumpkin into it.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why. They somehow, I guess the fact that they got stirred up by the other kids, they were now free to go get their revenge finally.
I see. What was still unclear to me is why Sam started attacking Mr. Krieg in the first place.
I think because he wasn't participating. He wasn't handing out candy like he ought to.
Oh, okay. Because it seemed very weird to me. He was intense and then he just left. Like, what the hell just happened?
Well, but we do see after he leaves, he starts handing out candy like he's supposed to.
Right.
But then, if that's the case, though, he totally overreacts to the woman blowing out the jack-o'-lantern.
Yeah. There's some weird rules about Halloween. I had no idea.
Yeah, he spares Krieg, but then he executes that lady, crams a half-eaten lollipop in her mouth just for blowing out a candle.
Yeah.
So Sam's a little, unbalanced.
High-strung.
Inconsistent. Sam is inconsistent. So there you go, trick or treat, folks. Amanda, what did you think?
Well, I'm gonna say, what's the rating, or what am I going with? There's that coming up.
Pumpkins.
Right.
You can just give your general thoughts and then give it a rating, but it's
general
5.
thoughts. Okay.
1 to 5 pumpkins.
Well, is it supposed to be amusing or actually scary?
I think it's...
Or just entertaining, perhaps?
I think it's meant to be humorous as well as scary.
Okay. So if that's the case, I would say 3.5.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't love it. You may have since picked that up from my voice. I didn't hate it. I feel fine about it. I don't feel the need to watch that again in my lifetime.
Well, you have seen it about 3 times.
I have. That first one was pretty rough. So, if you're not doing anything, why not watch it now that we did not get into all the little details that just make it come alive, build the suspense. But I'd give it an A-OK, if that's a rating.
Okay. All right. Anything else about it stand out to you? Any parts you particularly liked or disliked?
Let me review the notes one moment as I review what I wrote down. We had the nice culturally diverse group of werewolf women, so that's cool. I noticed that. What else did we have? Mr. Wilkins, Creeposaurus Rex for sure. But for UNICEF, there's I wrote down for UNICEF, anything for a good cause. So there's some reference he makes to, the kids are collecting jack-o'-lanterns for UNICEF. And he has to say anything for a good cause in just a super creepy way.
Okay.
While Little Big Planet's hanging around. And I don't think anything really stuck out to me. If we were going for more art depth to this, I feel that the stories could overlap better. Instead of it just being a little passerby, like, oh, hey, there's the couple that later we're going to hear about. There could perhaps be some more intertwining of the stories. Mm-hmm. I haven't written a feature horror film, so don't listen to me. But it does feel a little disjointed-ish.
Okay.
The end kind of felt like when you had a writing assignment as a kid in school. It just kind of felt a little bit like that, like when you're in school doing your writing assignment that you haven't fully figured out what's going where. And so you do that quick concluding paragraph and you kind of tie up all the loose ends, but not really that well. That's kind of what it reminded me of. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. That junior high writing assignment that you're phoning in, but you got to act like you thought this thing through. So here goes this person walking by and that person walking by. And
so what did you give it? 3.5?
3.5. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna give it a 4. I really like it. There was talk of a sequel way back, like 2009, but nothing happened. It seems like the perfect kind of film for a sequel. You just have that kid. You could do an unlimited number of these, just little short vignettes that aren't enough to make a full movie out of, and little Sam running around, and one of the vignettes is him beating somebody up. It apparently had a rather limited release and then went to video, but that might be why there's no box office listed, because there wasn't like a full proper theatrical release. But it's got a cult following, and as we said, he's all over Spirit Halloween this year, so I don't know why you wouldn't.
Maybe it's a certain generation that were teenagers when this movie came out, and so now they're old enough to buy Halloween costumes, and so feel reminiscent about it.
Could be.
Because I do not remember this coming out at the time at all.
No. What says here on Wikipedia, despite being delayed for 2 years and having only a limited number of screenings at film festivals, the film received much critical acclaim and has since garnered a strong cult following.
Really? Critical acclaim, huh?
Yeah. Well, maybe you just don't watch enough horror movies. And
perhaps this is the problem. Disclaimer to the listeners, I'm not a horror film watcher.
It premiered at Harry Knowles' Butt Numbathon in 2007. Great. It's a festival he used to have every year for his birthday, like 24 hours of movies, both the combination of classics and premieres. So that's why it was the Butt Numbathon, because you, in theory, would be in your seat for 24 hours watching movies.
It reminds me of, Love Actually, the Halloween version, a little bit with the overlapping stories.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did think of that while I was watching it.
I can see that. And in fact, I'm surprised there hasn't been one that was more, because what was the other one? New Year's Eve?
I think they did a Valentine one, a New Year's one.
I think there is, yeah. That one just explicitly marketed as, if you like Love Actually, you'll like this, because it's the same thing, just with a different holiday.
Right. So this is the Love Actually of Halloween.
Yeah, I think so. And they should be marketing it that way. DC Comics put out an adaptation of it, and that is no sequel, but a comic book adaptation. So there you go. Well, yeah. So a 3.5 from Amanda, a 4 from me. I really liked it. I really liked it when I first saw it. That's why I chose it. Is it streaming anywhere? Let me just check real quick.
I also have like a 20-inch TV, so this could affect the, I'll just say that for the viewers that really love TV and things. I have this little 20-inch TV on the bar that I was watching it while I had COVID. So we could give them a 3.75 for that factor. If that makes it any better. 20-inch
TV used to be a good thing.
It used to be great, yes. But now I feel like some of that, although this isn't the most visual film ever, I don't know where that 12 million went, especially 2007 12 million.
It all went to Miss Academy Award.
When they pulled the skin off. Oh, yes. When they pulled their skin off costumes. And Anna Paquin. Thank you for showing up, Anna.
Yep. Werewolves and Anna Paquin ate up the budget. It is not streaming free anywhere or included on any streaming services, but it is available to rent or buy on all the things. Vudu, Amazon, Apple, YouTube, Redbox, all those things. So there you go.
And if you believe in karma, don't be jerky teenagers who play a trick on somebody in a quarry. He's going to come back and get you. And it's not even delayed karma in this case. It's like 5 minutes later.
Yeah. Folks, after we recorded this, I discovered there is a Kickstarter campaign for a 15th anniversary omnibus collection of the comic book. It includes the original adaptation, a sequel story, and a brand new, never before published story. And there's all kinds of little pins and doodads things you can add on if you care to support that. So I will put a link to that in the show notes. So that will wrap it up. Come back tomorrow for another in our 31 days of horror leading up to the finale. Halloween Ends, which, as I mentioned before, is in theaters, or you can stream it on Peacock.
And I think I really sold that film, so you should watch it.
Thanks for joining me, Amanda. Is there anything you want to plug before you go?
just keep listening to Monster Movie Fun Time Go. And of course, the special Halloween series that you have each year. I'm already ready for next year to watch my movie and be a guest on the show. So,
Okay.
yes, happy Halloween, everybody.
So until next time, I have been your host, Precious D. Remember to keep calm and seek shelter in basements. And please don't misuse science. I will not see you, but you will hear me next time on Monster Movie Fun Time Go. You've been listening to Monster Movie Fun Time Go. If you enjoyed the show, please rate and review us on your podcasting platform of choice. Our theme song is by the Texicano Folk Rock Punk featuring Lita Lopez. You can support the show, find links to our social media, and even leave us a voice message at anchor.fm/MNFTG.